or sooner?
We're doing one in April,
Okay.
right?
And okay, so I would suggest, because I'm a note taker, that's why I can write down some of these things, because you know when you're talking, you think of things. But anyway, so the first thing you should probably do when you're thinking about your event is plan your event with the end in mind. What are you trying to accomplish with this event? Video. I was the IT marketing director manager of many different companies. I only had one goal for events, and that was lead generation. We had to meet as many people as we possibly could, get them into our system, qualify them, and one of the best ways we did that, and I'm a big advocate of events, is through events. Why? Because where do you get opportunity to meet your customers face to face? A lot of us do email marketing, social media marketing, but you are meeting with your customer. If you're having a product, you can sell at that event. So start off with how many people I want to meet, how much sales I want to make, and you plan accordingly. So if your event is, what give me the business that you're, whoever's having.
I'm with Roselle Center for Healing.
Okay.
And so we go out and meet the public because these would be patients that would come in to see us.
Okay.
So we go out to a lot of various events, and a lot of them are in businesses. The next one we're going to is the alcohol, tobacco, firearms. It's a government agency down in DC.
Okay.
And so the idea is to meet people, not only tell them about us, but see if we can actually bring patients back. So we have a program, a nonprofit organization that we work with, and I bring a doctor with me or an acupuncturist with me. And what they do is we talk about different things and tell them about their health in various different ways. And if they're interested in becoming a patient, then we can offer them, the doctor will waive their fee for a consultation, evaluation, which is a pretty long, extensive thing. It's not just a 5-10 minute piece. You get a good hour and a half, with the doctor. And so with that, they will waive their fee for a $69 donation to this nonprofit organization. And I feel, and we talk to a lot of people, but a lot of people just are not that interested at that moment in time. So what do we do after that? And how do we keep them, up to date with what we do and everything?
Okay, well, so I talked about that a little bit in the presentation. So I've set it up, I won't talk presentation more, but I think you do 3 things when you are doing your events. You consider it a marketing campaign, both pre-show, show, and post-show marketing. So that will help with the follow-up. And if you look at it those 3 ways, you will plan out your tactics, activities, and everything else that you have to do. So we started off with our goals, and obviously hers is to get as many people into your database as possible. So for her, and if not, I just looked this up this morning. I'm skipping all over, but I looked this up this morning. I'm all about mobile marketing now. To now have digital QR codes that people don't have to write anything. You can just scan their business card in, and that goes into your database. Speeds up that process, makes it more simple, and gives you more time to talk to your customers. Hold on a second. Okay, I'll do this. I'll talk this way to make sure I have these points that I wanted you to have. Okay, so the other thing was putting your best foot forward, and what I call that is your branding, and making sure that your logo is everywhere, your presentation presentation, like all of us work together, that we're all wearing the same logo merchandise. Now, you don't have to, there's a cost involved in purchasing, but if we all were like white and black or all black, whatever your brand needs to be, you need to put your best foot forward at the show. I always consider the booth itself my little store. So when people walk into my little store, I want to make sure I create a great experience for them. I want to make sure all of my sales team looks alike. We know the key messages that we have to say, and that we're accomplishing our goals of signing up. If you are only one person and your goal is lead generation or getting more prospects, then maybe you need to consider hiring someone else, a college student, because heaven forbid they walk into your store, and you know how it is when you walk in and it's not enough people, they walk away, and you didn't get that information that you really so needed to start marketing yourself. Oh, and most important, your giveaways are, so I'm a shopper, so I love getting giveaways. Now, in my history, I've learned that the cooler the giveaway, the better. To get people to come to your booth, if your giveaway is cool, people will start talking about it. I was at a show and the guy had, I don't know what you call it. It was a spring toy, and it was annoying. Because all he did was, every time somebody came, he was putting that toy in someone's face. But what happened were, we, as adults, we take these toys home to our kids. His logo is on there. People were coming from all over to get these toys. And of course, we're thinking about that store experience. They're talking to my sales team. Not a hard sale, but they're like, okay, at least if I'm going to come and try and take that giveaway, then at least I'll spend a couple minutes trying to talk to them and figure out what they sell and why they do. So I love giveaways. I think if you can go cheap but impactful based on whatever you sell. I'm just thinking of acupuncturists, that's would be pretty cool, little pin cushion or something like that. Something to make your customer remember you. That is definitely something you need to have for your brand. And then, of course, this goes without saying, but if you think about that store, how many times have you been talking to somebody and they're looking away because they're looking at the next person? And it's hard to do. It's hard to keep someone's attention, sell to them, and you see like 10 people coming, but you never know if Roz is the person who's going to make that big sale for you. That's why I think if you have two people, if your goal is lead generation, two people to help keep that person there, then you'll be able to sell more because you're being sincere with Sheila while Roz is looking. Then back to the marketing campaign, and I'll talk about a little bit more. And if you look at the sheet itself, I don't think I have ideas on here, but we can talk about that, more. But when you are doing your pre-show, your marketing campaign, you definitely want to send me an email letting me know that you're going to this place and that you'll be there. Both for your current customers who may want to just share that email or share that information out, as well as your potential customers who haven't bought yet. What that shows is that you're in the marketplace trying to help other people, trying to do more. So definitely plan your email campaign. If you just do one thing, I could just say this. If you just do one thing, let me know who's going to be there and where you're going to be for your product. You probably have amassed a list of 100, 200, 300 people. They want to know what you're doing, and maybe they're not ready to buy from you, but they may come around your booth just to say hi, to see who they are, and then you may forward it out to other people who may be interested. So the more you can get people to come to your booth before you get there, the better off you'll be. So other things that you could do for pre-show marketing, I'm a big social media advocate, so definitely you want to post it on your Facebook page, your Twitter. You want to follow people who are at the show already. If you're a small company in a local area, this will be great, I think, actually. She's probably looking for articles that she can write about, and you can send her a press release saying that, I'm some small company, I'm going to this conference. here are the issues that I found in my marketplace. This is why I think that people should come to my booth. Put your name, email, call to action. But that's something you could do to generate pre-show marketing and pre-show buzz as well. Oh, the other thing, if they have a brochure, get an advertisement. Again, this is all based on your budget, but the more people who you get to come visit you before you at the show, the better. And we talked about this a little bit, but at the show, the contest that you have, think about it, we all were at the same show and 100 people came. We all have to separate our booth from everyone else's. We all have to make sure that, and we're competitive, we have to make sure our booth stands out. So that experience that you talked about, the branding, maybe doing a contest, the giveaway that she's doing, if you sign up, you get a free consultation. That all drives people and creates that experience for the customer. And the memorable experience for the customer, so that they will either buy from you today, love getting some emails from you, and may purchase from you a little bit later. But still, that's part of that brand experience. Okay, now, this is what will make you separate, different, unique. No one does it. We all say we do it, but we don't do it. Follow up, follow up. follow up. So what I did before I even went to the show, I had my thank you email ready, because I sat down with my team, or I know my small business entrepreneurs. I know what I'm going to talk about. I know what my key messages are. I set up a landing page. I know everything that I'm going to talk about. So all I had to do when I got back was click. Thank you to all of you who visited me at XYZ show. I really appreciate it. Please go to our landing page. Please, whatever it is. If you set it up now, you don't have to worry about it. The only thing you have to worry about is, of course, getting the contact into the database. But follow up. And that's just your first, because that's your generic. When you're at the show, you met maybe 10 people who, if you want to call them your A leads, your B leads, your C leads. If you were me, which what I did was I would either have a lead sheet, something simple, name of the show, where I met them, and personal things that I found out from that listening conversation that I had with them. And then that follow-up is a little bit different. Dear Sheila, I know you're trying to go to WBIS. I'm a marketing person. We spoke about social media. I would love to talk to you a little bit further. The second follow-up. The third follow-up is your generic email, newsletter, invitation to a Facebook page, whatever it is. But if you notice, I have 3 follow-ups. And if you view these events as a marketing campaign, you're going to plan these out. You're going to say, as soon as I get back, thank you so much. They're like, oh, wow, they're so ahead of the time. I just love it. And more than likely, your competitors won't do it because they just won't think of it, or you'll be first. Tired. Too tired. Yeah, I mean, I could, marketing people are a dime a dozen, unfortunately, but man, I was so mad. We went to a show. This marketing consultant had an email done like 2 days before. I was like, oh! But I still sent one. But the whole point is, that's what people don't do. And if you're working with your sales team, how many of you are small, big, medium, with the, just you, sole proprietors? Okay, so just you. So you are your sales team. But if you were, and when you grow next year and you have your first sales team, you want to start that process so he or she already knows what is expected of her. And the sharing of information cannot be overlooked as well. So at the show, post-show, the other thing you want to do is capture as much information about what worked and what didn't work. It doesn't have to be, I would just do paragraphs. Number 1, yes, I accomplished what I had to accomplish. No, I didn't. Yes, I did means you're going to look at that show again for next year. No, I didn't means thank you, it just didn't do anything for me. If you did get your 100 leads from it, put that in there, because that'll help you with your follow-up as well. Now the big, I should say technology. Go ahead, question.
How would you do things differently you do have a salespeople of, say, 100 people.
Mm. Now anything different, just do the process. So for you, what we did was we had, so Microlink, we would do 50 to 80 shows a year. We always had 3 key meetings. The planning meeting, the ex-show debriefing, we could all get together on the show, and the capture. All of us together. So however many people need to be on that call, those 3 calls need to be on there. If you do, especially if you have more than 100 people, get that information back to your exhibit manager or your marketing manager. She should be the keeper of the information. She should be the one entering it into your CRM system. And all you're doing at that meeting is sharing. We had 108 leads. I've already assigned them to Joe Schmo. The notes that I took from that meeting, and if you have a CRM system, are in there. Go for it from prosper salesperson. Marketing can do no more at this point for the show.
I found that some of the larger conferences that I've been to as an exhibitor, they have provided us with a list of all the people that exhibit at least that day, so that at the end, if I did not meet everyone that came by the booth, at least I know everyone that exhibited there or people that have come through, so that I get a list no matter if I saw them or not.
You get the exhibitor list or the attendee list?
I get an exhibitor list at the minimum, and then sometimes, if they're really large conferences, a number of people allow their email addresses to be sent out, and they will give me a list of people that attended.
I actually did not do conferences that I did not get the list from.
Okay. Okay.
Because if you are at a large conference, I can't meet everybody, but my goal is to get leads into my system.
Exactly.
That's right. So, and we did collaboration solutions. So we do a lot of IT shows. The first thing, our qualification for the event was, do I get the list? The second qualification is, can I get the attendee list before the show actually starts? And we will pay extra to be a sponsor of that show so we can start our pre-show marketing before. Remember, our goal is to, if we could close a sale at the show, even better. So the more information you can get from the attendee list, when you sell for a show, you act like that event organizer is your best friend. You talk to her or him. You talk to the person about what those goals are. They would, if they have press there and they know you and they know what you're trying to do, they can introduce you to the press. So consider, it's like a whole little world. So consider that event organizer your best friend. And by the time you walk in, she should be ready. Hey Maisha, how are you? I have many people I want you to meet. Have a question? Okay. So yeah, we poo-pooed anything that we couldn't get, we couldn't market to them because you can't do. But a lot of small businesses, we do smaller shows, and a lot of the event organizers aren't that sophisticated, so we have to ask for these things as well.
Question on the follow-up. You had the 3, the first the generic, which you could send out, that evening or the next day.
But now you get the list, you wait until you get that attendee list and
Right.
get listened over to.
Right. But then how soon after that would you do the personal follow-up and then your third touch, the generic, like the newsletter or whatever? Because you don't want to have like one coming Monday, one coming Tuesday, one coming Wednesday, your fire hose.
I think you do the personal follow-up. I think you do 2 things. I think you call the people who you spoke to, because remember, these people, what do you?
I'm with, I do health and wellness, and I represent Shackley.
Oh, okay. So, you'll have a conversation with me, and I said, which is literally true. For whatever reason, this leg is killing me, right? So, if you know that there's a product that can help, why would you wait to call me? But send me a personal thing like, hey, I spoke to you a couple weeks ago. Is your leg still bothering you? Kind of thing. So I would do email 3 to 5 days. Thank you so much for visiting our booth. Maybe 2 weeks in between 5 days to 2 weeks, and then your next one could be a month. Because that really is, you've already probably done all the calling and email. People either responded or not responded, and now that's just putting into your generic marketing after that.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, did I cover my key points here? Thank you. Thank you.
The mantra for the day, right?
I didn't do it. I started off as I got more responsibility, and my vice president of sales is like, great, you did the show. How many leads did you get? Oh, okay. Great, you did the show. How many qualified leads you get? I'm like, okay, well, shoot, I gotta do more after the show. And I would see, when I say small, I work with $30 to $150 million